And with us now in the Wellington studio, the Labour Party leader, Andrew Little. Good morning.
Good morning.
Also to say you can watch this interview. We're streaming it live on the Morning Report Facebook page. Now, let's just pick up on that last point that Nick Smith was talking about there with Guyon. Foreign workers coming in, more of them to support this building boom. Is that something you'd support?
We know that to get the level and quantity of building needed to build the extra houses to accommodate, whether it's in Auckland or in other parts of the country, we're going to have people coming from overseas to help out. It's not a reason to say we don't also invest in training and skilling New Zealanders to enter the construction trades and be part of that as well. Our Kiwi Build program has a 3-year kind of ramp-up period for that, but it will be a mix of training our own and people coming in from overseas.
What proportion would you be comfortable with, though, of foreign workers coming in to support this?
Haven't thought through the detail of proportions or figures. We want to see a significant investment in training up New Zealanders. And that goes hand in hand with another policy of ours, which is giving professional and good careers advice to students at high school, so they're making good decisions about their career opportunities. But fully accept that to get the quantity and level of building, we're going to have people coming from overseas to help out.
What sort of visas would you be happy to see people coming in on? For example, the sort of ones that mean it could count towards them ultimately getting residency, permanent residency or citizenship?
Which is what we did with the Christchurch rebuild. So a lot of people come in from offshore to do that. And what was meant to happen in Christchurch too, there was money set aside, $50 million, I think 48 was the precise figure, to train New Zealanders. Very little of it was used. But in any event, people came in from overseas to help out. And as they spent time here, they qualified also to apply for permanent residency. I think that's a perfectly acceptable option to take.
So you'd be happy for that to be part of the migration stats?
For sure, yes. I mean, we've always said the issue about immigration is matching skills needs or the skills of people to what we need in New Zealand, and we've always been dependent on that. That doesn't change. You have a massive house building program over a 10-year period. We're going to have people come from overseas to do that. Some will want to stay here. That's a good thing.
Okay. Just talking a little bit about the quantities of the houses, it seems that there's quite a lot of disagreement about exactly how many houses are needed. From your point of view, I guess you think the state should be shouldering a lot more of this than the private sector. But in terms of affordability, where does that lie? What proportion do you think should be affordable homes?
Well, I think that the state should take responsibility for ensuring that more affordable homes are built. I think it's not about the state kind of picking up the tab. It is about the state working with private developers, working with councils, working with whoever, landowners and the like, to make sure that we have a house building program focused on affordable housing and if necessary, to take the regulatory steps that are needed. That's why part of our policy package is an affordable housing authority that has some powers working with others to get the building actually done. This sort of response by the government, which is to sort of play down the figures and then to say no figures are reliable and then to say it's the Auckland Council's fault and we need the unitary plan to do this, that and the other. I think it just shows a total lack of leadership. What we do need is a commitment. The government is going to provide a leadership role with their regulatory powers to do that, a bit of upfront investment that is recovered from the sale of future built houses.
In Auckland, in the areas that this is particularly pointed towards, what do you think the price should be of an affordable house?
Well, our Kiwi Build policy assumes an affordable housing level for Auckland at between $500,000 and $600,000. That reflects the cost of land, but we think we can get the price down by committing to a program of building at scale over a period of time and working with building material suppliers to get discounts on, they know they've got a 10-year supply contract, then we can drive cost out of the project.
And would that then bring the house prices down in Auckland?
Well, it means that the new houses and houses pitched at first home buyers coming on the market will be less than the average price now. That doesn't mean to say that, houses selling at whatever they're selling at now, those prices come down, but it does mean that there's a new bunch of affordable homes pitched at first home buyers with all the conditions attached to it that people can then get into and have a place they can call their own.
Would you then be against the idea of bringing down the house prices in Auckland?
Well, I don't know what you do to do that. It's not a policy objective that we have, and I'm not quite sure what mechanism you think you could use to drive prices down.
Well, I mean, the Green Party's talked about this quite openly. Matiria Ture last year on the programme was saying that she would like to see them fall, and had various ideas around that. I mean, is that something that Labour would consider looking at?
No, it's not what we're looking at. I recall the interview. What I don't recall hearing is the actual mechanisms used to achieve that. And I know there are some economists who say, yes, that's what we need to do. But again, I haven't heard an economist specifying what device you would do to use that. What is the most important thing right now is the whole bunch of people, young couples who can't afford to buy their first home. We've got to build houses, affordable homes that they can afford to buy, that they can get into their first home. That's the critical thing. It's about building the houses, not worrying about the prices, which frankly are beyond a government's control.
Thank you very much for your time. The Labour Party leader, Andrew Little, there in our Wellington studio this morning. It's now 12 minutes to 8.